Beloved students, teeming millions of Indians are this morning either glued on the TV or gathered around the ramparts of Red Fort in Delhi to witness the celebration of India's Independence Day. All of us here are no exception, joining our hands together in the brief celebration function of our Independence Day, residing in a far-flung corner of India with millions of other Indians. The history of our freedom struggle is a long one, yes. But in a nutshell, let us remind ourselves the history of our freedom struggle from the British rule. The history of freedom struggle is usually divided into three phases. The moderate phase, 1885 to 1905, extremist phase, 1906 to 1917, and the Gandhian phase, from 1918 to 1947. India was under the British rule for about a long period of 200 years or so. There has been already widespread discontentment among the Indians. Numerous uprisings or revolts in several parts of India against the British authority by the peasants, sannyasis, Dalits, the tribals, Muslims, or the Hindus. The racial superiority of the British attitude, their discriminatory and arrogant rule, exploitation of Indian resources, harsh or draconian laws, interferences or inroads into the Indian culture were some of the main causes of anti-British feelings among the Indians. The first war of India's independence broke out in 1857, which we call it Sepoy Mutiny. This war had shaken the very roots of foundation of British rule in India, and so much so that the role of the East India Company had been transferred to the British Crown. Prominent leaders of this war of 1857 were Nana Sahib Tantia Top, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Rani of Jhansi, to name a few. Their exemplary and heroic deeds and sacrifices were written in the epitaph of Indian history for all of us to emulate and generations to come. History of freedom struggle would be incomplete without mentioning the role and sacrifices made by Lala Rajpal Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Khudiram Bose, Prafulla Chakki, Bikaji Kama, Rajbihari Bose, and Guru Sukhdev, and others. Another strong movement was launched against the British in the backdrop of partition of Bengal in 1905, followed by Swadeshi movement in 1906. British repeatedly tried to pacify the Indians' anger by passing several laws and acts, such as Government of India Act 1905, 1919, but none of the provisions of these acts could fulfill the aspirations of the Indians for Swaraj or freedom.